I am the one who has watched over you in the darkness of long nights, in the silence of your weary sighs, and in the dreams you thought had withered since ages past. I have seen you. I have seen your weary steps wandering at life's crossroads, your heart parched of hope, and your eyes dulled of the brilliance they once held when hope first bloomed. You thought I had gone silent. You believed I had forgotten you. But, O soul yearning for light, listen closely now, for I am doing something in your life that has never been done before. A stranger, one you've never known, never imagined, never dared to hope for, is on their way to you. Not by chance, not by fate, but because I have sent them. They are my messenger, the outstretched hand of my grace, reaching into the very ashes where your broken dreams lay dormant. When I ordained times for all things under heaven, I also appointed this encounter, this divine interruption. In what seems like a shattered piece of reality, I am creating a gateway to transformation beyond comprehension. This person will not arrive clothed in splendor or grandeur. They will wear no crown, no glowing mantle. They will not preach with thunder. But in their eyes, you will see the gaze I myself have placed. In their words, the echo of my voice. In their smallest actions, the seed of something vast beginning to stir. You asked me, how can I change? How can I break free from this bleak path? I have heard. Not a whisper of yours has been lost in the silence of the cosmos. I have etched every cry into this moment, this opening that no force can shut. And this stranger is not your savior. I alone save. But they are the key I will use to unlock a door long sealed within your heart. They do not bring solutions, but they carry a reminder from heaven that I have never stopped thinking of you, never stopped weaving plans for your life, never ceased to send help at just the right time. O you who are waiting for something undefined, do not measure my intervention by the world's standards. I do not act in common ways. I do not send angels in white robes flying from the skies. I send the sacred through what appears ordinary. I hide my glory in the garments of humility. And I test your heart to see, will you recognize my visit when it is not announced with trumpets or banners? Will your faith remain when the one I send walks into your life unassumingly, with no title, no fame? Do you trust me enough to open your heart to the unfamiliar? Do you have courage enough to step through a door with no nameplate? You believed I would change your life with a dazzling miracle, a whirlwind of divine reversal. But I am wise. I choose the quiet path to reveal my greatness. For it is in the mundane that I do the miraculous. I do not need to shout across the heavens to prove my power. One whisper from me can move mountains. One encounter, arranged by my hand, can change the course of a destiny. And you, even now, are standing at such a crossroads. The change you've prayed for is not arriving with thunder and lightning, but with the gentle presence of one I have placed into the flow of your days, like a quiet punctuation, yet eternal. Listen closely. Be attentive, for they are approaching, and you will feel something different. Not fleeting emotion, not shallow curiosity, but a subtle stirring in your soul, like dry earth kissed by the first rain of a new season. You may not understand at first. You may question, but your spirit will know. Their presence will awaken things within you that you thought long dead. Dreams, faith, love, a reasonless hope. I will use them as a mirror, so you might see light within yourself again. They are not your Redeemer, for I alone redeem. But they are my vessel, my living proof that I still move, still send, still make a way. Do not let disappointment from the past rob you of the gift I now send. Do not let fear turn you away from what you've prayed for all these years. You cried in the night, you begged for a hand. Now I extend mine, through one you never expected to carry blessing. This is not coincidence. This is a divine orchestration. I have seen the locked doors in your heart, shut by unhealed memories. the wounds you thought had closed but still bleed in silence. You've tried to rise alone. You believed that perseverance would be enough. But you've grown tired. You've collapsed. You've questioned even the light at the end of the tunnel. So you built walls around your heart, not knowing that those same walls also became chains. You thought I would break those chains in an instant, but I do not force freedom. I awaken you to see the hand I have extended, and only when you choose to reach back, the miracle begins. The one I send will not intrude, will not persuade with eloquent arguments. They come in peace, with eyes carrying depths your reason cannot explain. They are not here to fill you with their presence, but to stir a question. Is this the moment destiny shifts? You will be moved, not by what they say, but by what they carry. A silent affirmation that you are not forgotten, that heaven knows your name, and a new chapter is being written for you in a book that no one reads ahead. And in them, you will sense that I am still speaking, still guiding. Whether or not you feel worthy, know this. There are some things I cannot accomplish in your solitude. There are parts of your heart that can only be opened when someone steps inside, not to replace me, but to reflect me. I do not only dwell in the sacred and mysterious, I enter your life through small, overlooked details, a chance meeting, a glance, a sentence that seems random but pierces your long silent ache. And through that simplicity, you will witness the quiet majesty of my plan. The one I send may not seem important. They may lack status or influence. They are not who you prayed to meet, but they are who I have chosen. And my choices are not based on appearance or worldly merit. I choose because I know they carry a peace essential to your healing and resurrection. Don't reject what I offer because it does not match your expectations. You may have longed for a voice from heaven, yet I speak through a familiar tone. You hoped for brilliance, yet I appear in stillness. I want you to learn to see me even when I am hidden. O soul who has believed it was the end too many times, I say this so you won't miss your moment of grace. Your path did not arrive at this turning point by accident. Every delay, every interruption, every pain, every abandonment, they were preparing you for what I am about to give. You needed the wilderness to value water. You needed heartbreak to recognize truth. The one I send does not only bring a new door, but a mirror to reflect who you truly are. Not a reflection of failure, but of rebirth. You will see that you are no longer defined by your past, but redefined by my present choice. I do not see you through your failures, but through who I know you are becoming. And remember, this person will not remain forever. They are a wake-up call, not a destination. When their purpose is fulfilled, they may go. You may not see them again, but what I plant through them will live on. The change is not in them, it is in how you respond. If you close your heart, they will pass like a breeze. But if you open it, you will witness a springtime born from that single brave act. For the stranger I send is not to change your surroundings, but to awaken the transformation within you. And from that inward change, your outer world will begin to shift in ways beyond imagination. Know this, everything I orchestrate holds a purpose greater than what eyes can see or minds can grasp. The one you are about to meet is not merely a side character in your story. They are a vital link in the intricate design I have been weaving, long before you even knew you needed help. You've hoped for deliverance, but failed to see it might come not through grand circumstances, but through a meeting, a glance, a word. And that simple thread will unravel into something greater than anything you've dared dream. I see your thirst, not just for success or peace, but for meaning, for true life, for something that will not fade. I've placed that person on your path, not to light every step, but to ignite a flame within you that you must learn to nurture. I will not do everything for you, but I will not leave you in darkness. I am the one who designs every turn, every coincidence that is, in truth, a calculated moment of grace. Know this: the one I send, in all their humility and plainness, carries a piece of your healing that your own willpower could never create. They may only offer a word, a gesture, or simply their presence at the right time. But that presence, if you do not judge it, if you do not close your heart from old wounds, will awaken in you the ability to see me clearer, deeper. I do not approach in grandeur. I arrive through what you easily overlook. So you must relearn how to see, relearn how to listen. Understand that my wisdom does not operate by human logic. I use the stranger to dismantle your reasoning, to challenge your limits, to awaken in you the ability to recognize my presence in flesh and bone, in the vibrant unpredictability of every sacred moment. You will be tested. I do not hide that. The one I send will not only bring answers, but will also bring you face to face with yourself. They will expose hidden fears, unhealed wounds, buried memories. But that is necessary. For no true transformation happens without walking through the land of truth. I have sent them to gently soothe you with words your heart can receive. They come not to overwhelm you, but to stir the part of your soul that has fallen into slumber. The part of your spirit that once knew the light, but slowly dimmed beneath the weight of old wounds. Do not fear when uneasiness arises at their arrival. Do not panic when you feel weak. These are signs that what I am doing is real. For I do not heal the surface. I reach for the roots. The transformation you long for will not happen in a morning, nor in a single meeting. It will arrive rhythmically, like spring replacing winter, subtle, silent. You may not even notice the moment you began to change. This stranger brings not a dramatic miracle, but a seed, and a seed must be nurtured, watered, tended to with patience. I want you to work with me in this, not merely wait for a miracle, but become part of the miracle itself. Because what I am doing is not merely rescuing you, it is remaking you, so that you too may become a vessel through which change flows to others. Be watchful. For when grace draws near, resistance does too. When the one I have sent steps into your life, voices in your mind may rise to pull you back into fear, suspicion, and self-protection. Memories may awaken to whisper that you are unworthy of something new. Old patterns may try to hold you captive in the loop of defeat. But that is when you must remember, you no longer walk alone. You do not need to defend yourself. For I am walking with you into what I have begun. And that person is a sign of my living presence and divine plan. Do not let hesitation rob you of this sacred moment. Do not let fear speak louder than faith. I have already prepared everything. Only one thing remains: your step out of the familiar. And as you take that step, you will begin to see doors open, not all at once, not in the way you imagined, but in the way I have ordained from eternity. Even the most painful pieces of your story will begin to make sense. You will see that this person did not come to add to your burdens, but to help carry what you could not bear alone. They are the answer from heaven to the silent cry you whispered in the night, a living reminder that not a single tear you shed was wasted. And as the journey continues, you will begin to feel again what you had long stopped believing, that even a life shattered, bent, or broken can be reborn. Not by human strength, but by timely divine intervention, through someone whose name you've never known. Yet I had called them long before you uttered a prayer. O soul walking between longing and doubt, hear this. The change you desire is not a stroke of luck, but an answer prepared in silence, in hidden places, in the shadows you never thought to look. The one I've sent is part of a greater story you are living, though not yet fully understanding. They are the next page of a chapter already turning, even if you haven't noticed. Every step they take toward you is a heartbeat of my will being executed in time, in reality, in the living history of your life. Nothing is random. No moment comes without meaning. This stranger carries more than a role. They are the declaration that the old season is closing and the new is now at the threshold. You may ask why I chose someone unfamiliar. Why not a familiar face, a trusted hand, someone you've loved before. But because you have become too accustomed to the old paths, old people, old rhythms, I must break the cycle with what is unfamiliar. If I dressed the new in old garments, you wouldn't recognize it. If I used the source you were expecting, you'd rely on it, not learn the lesson I have for you. But through a stranger, you must learn to trust again. You will need to remove the lenses colored by past disappointment. You must choose to see with your inner eyes, not those influenced by appearance, reputation, or worldly success. This is how you grow in faith, not textbook faith, but living, active faith that breaks through old molds. The change I bring is never temporary. I do not patch broken pieces. I overturn the root. I do not merely change the outer world. I rebuild your soul from within. And from there, all else will fall into its divine place. Even if that person is only with you for a time, they will be the catalyst for inner explosion. They may not understand the fullness of their role. They may not know they are being used by me. But that is what makes my work beautiful. I use even the unaware, the simple, to create the extraordinary. And if you are willing, you will not only receive, but you will become a keeper of the light, a co-creator in this divine story. I do not restore you only to save you from hardship. I revive you so that through you, others may find the way home. Yes, you may have been wounded by those you trusted most. Yes, you may have given your heart to something that swallowed your innocence and made you fear the light. But I say this: your past cannot ruin my plan. No betrayal is powerful enough to stop what I have ordained. In fact, the ruins are now the foundation for the new. Only through desolation do you learn the value of what is real. Only through absence do you cherish true presence. And when that person arrives, not to replace your past but to testify that your present can be reborn, you will feel a new rhythm in your soul, a new breath in each day. Do not waste time in doubt. Do not deplete yourself comparing this to what once was. Stay focused, stay awake. For this person is not sent to please you, but to change you. They may unsettle you. They may ask questions that force you to confront yourself. And that is the mark of truth. Truth does not coddle. It liberates. I did not send someone to comfort you, but to heal you. And real healing begins with confrontation. Allow yourself to walk through this process, even if it brings tears, sleepless nights, or silent pauses you cannot explain. Because at the end of that path stands a new version of yourself, the one I have always seen, even when you could not believe it. I have waited for this moment. I have written every chapter of your story with the patience of the one who is never hurried. I missed no detail, forgot no pain, overlooked no silent tear. Both light and shadow have been woven together for what I now begin. And that person, the one you're about to meet, is a gateway I have opened. Not to lead you into a perfect land, but to lead you out of the land of limitation. You are no longer the one trapped in an old story. You are walking into a new script, and that stranger is my first knock on the door of your soul. Don't let it pass like an unanswered sound. Rise, step forward, receive, for I am making all things new. And it begins with this encounter that may seem random, yet bears the eternal imprint of heaven. O soul once dimmed by despair, once moving through days stripped of meaning, I am turning this moment into the threshold of sacred transformation. You thought you reached the end, that nothing could change, that life was reduced to survival. But I tell you, this is not the end. It is the beginning of intervention. You are in the very moment others once prayed to enter, the moment when the Creator does not only observe, but acts. And that act begins, not with thunder, but with the quiet arrival of someone carrying light from a depth beyond human knowing. Though they wear no visible greatness, they carry within them a signature of divine mission only your open heart can recognize. I know there were times you believed you needed no one, that silence was safer. But silence didn't heal you. Strength alone didn't make you whole. It is the act of opening up, the moment you admit your need, that begins my real work. Weakness is not failure, it is the gateway to honesty. And I need a heart that's real, not one pretending to be fine, to carry out my greatest works. They are not here to live your life for you, not here to make decisions in your place. But they will walk beside you as a bridge between the doubting version of yourself and the one now forming day by day in the light of trust. You will notice that their presence brings something unfamiliar, quiet, unassuming, yet undeniable. They will challenge what you once deemed certain, shake walls you've built to protect yourself. That is how change begins, not in comfort, but in disruption that breaks open what fear once sealed shut. I have placed in them a love that speaks not with words, a light that shines not through the eyes, but through their essence, their presence, their manner of being. They arrive without demanding space, speak without manipulating, love without condition, and that, my child, will make it impossible for you to turn away. Deep inside you, where no one has ever touched, a trembling will awaken, a call will echo, not from them, but from me, using them to call you back to the mission you once forgot. This is not a fleeting opportunity. This is the only gate I have prepared to bring you out of the maze built from wounds and brokenness. You will stand at the fork of choice. Return to comfort or step into the unknown where new life breathes. Don't choose ease. Choose aliveness. Don't seek repetition. Dare to enter the uncharted. For I have waited there for you, with the promise that even in difficulty, you will never walk alone again. And know this, they are not sent only for you. You too are being called to become something for them. My connections are not designed for receiving alone, but for giving. Love is not merely being held up, but daring to become the one who lifts. They, too, carry wounds, stories untold, shadows needing light. And I will use you, one who has walked through fire, to shine light for them. Not through sermons, but presence. Not through perfection, but through the maturity formed in pain. This is not just a meeting, it is the crossing of destinies, where grace is given and received, where both souls are transformed, not by each other, but by me, who lives in the bond. So don't resist. Don't let intellect overpower the soul. You won't understand it all at once. That's not required. What I need is your willing yes. I will walk with you. I will protect you. And one day, when you look back, you will know this was the turning point. The moment when your story split in two, before they arrived, and after you dared to believe I had sent them. Everything will change, not all around you at once, but first, within. And from there, mountains will move, walls will fall, dreams will rise again. Because when you accept them, you are accepting what I ordained from the beginning, that your life is not just a series of days, but an unfolding revelation of life, truth, and eternal love. I am sending someone into your life, not to give you answers, but to awaken the questions you've long avoided. Why have you closed your heart? Why have you rejected hope? Why have you begun to live as though your existence no longer holds value? This person, through their quiet yet persistent presence, will begin to strip away the false coverings you've worn for survival. You will find it impossible to live the way you once did. And though this may unsettle you at first, it will become one of the greatest gifts, marking the beginning of a life lived with deeper truth, greater freedom, and love unchained from your past. But understand this well. I have not sent them so that you may lean on them as a crutch, nor to build your life upon their shoulders. They are not your foundation. They are merely the staff I place in your hand for a season, so that you might learn to walk with the strength I have placed within you. They are not to replace me in your heart, and you must not idolize them. I send them as a vessel, not a destination. Receive them with gratitude, not dependence. For if you cling too tightly, you will distort the gift I gave. You will turn what is sacred into something skewed. But if you learn to receive them in freedom, to hold on to what brings life, and let go of what is merely form, you will begin to grow in ways you never thought possible. I do not need you to become perfect to be worthy of this gift. I only ask for sincerity. I need you to dare to open your heart, to face the shadows you've hidden, to accept that you are in need of transformation. This is not about control, it is about liberation. I am not trying to manage your life. I am freeing you from the voices within that whisper, "You are not enough." And when you step into this journey, I will not abandon you. I will send more signs, more confirmations, more opportunities that will tell your soul you're walking in the right direction. I will let that person remind you of perseverance. They will not always be gentle. At times, they may challenge you, confront you, even anger you. But that is because I have placed within them a spark of the flame I'm lighting within you. And this fire is not here to destroy. It is here to purify. Remember, true change doesn't arrive in a dramatic burst. It comes slowly, woven through the fabric of ordinary days. Every choice, every moment you choose love over retreat, every brave response becomes a step toward the person you are being shaped to become. And in those days, whether they stay near or continue on to their next path, their presence will remain within you. For once light has been kindled, darkness loses its grip. Once a soul is awakened, it cannot return to its slumber. And once you dare to believe that I still move through others, you will begin to see me in everything, in a stranger's smile, in a handshake that seems meaningless, in a casual conversation that somehow echoes in your spirit. From then on, you will no longer ask, "When will the change come?" Because you will realize you are the change. Not through loud miracles, but through the silent depth of a heart transformed. Not through signs and wonders, but through a divine process that began with a meeting I ordained, at a moment I appointed, through someone who may seem unfamiliar, but in my eyes is a consecrated vessel chosen to pull you out of the shadows of yourself and lead you into the light of a destiny that was never destroyed, only waiting to be awakened. Listen deeply now, for I am drawing you into the sacred depths of my revelation. The one I've sent is not simply a helper for your temporary struggles, but the key that will unlock a chamber of your soul you didn't even know existed. There is something within you, higher than emotion, deeper than logic, that has lain dormant, numbed by betrayal, rejection, and the silence of those who should have protected you. I have seen it all. I have not come to shame your wounds. I have come to liberate you from the silent rule they have held over your life. You didn't realize how long those wounds have shaped you into someone who lives defensively, someone who exists only to avoid being hurt again. You've stopped walking in hope. You walk now only to escape fear. You no longer dream from calling, but from desperation for brief moments of peace. But I did not create you to survive as a breathing ruin. I crafted you to be a blazing instrument of my light in a world that has forgotten what light even looks like. So I cannot let you sleep behind your false sense of protection. I must send someone different enough to shake you, real enough to pierce through the defenses you've built, and steady enough to remain when you panic at the thought of being seen. Their purpose is not to comfort you, but to awaken you. Not to make you feel better, but to strip away the masks you've worn for too long. They are a mirror reflecting the rooms you've kept locked, the corners of your soul you swore no one would ever enter. But this, my child, is your moment. No longer will you need to live halfway. No longer will you ration your love or suppress your deepest longings. No longer will you pretend that your noblest desires are too much. This person will not teach you with lofty words. They will teach you by staying. Staying when you try to push them away. Staying when you scream in silence because you're terrified to be truly seen. staying as a living proof that my presence is not just an idea. It is real, tangible, steady, dependable, especially when you have nothing left to hold on to. They do not come to change you in one day, but to activate a series of soul-level reactions. Their arrival will unintentionally cause you to question every other relationship, every belief you've ever had about your worth. You will be forced to choose again, not from fear, but from truth. And with each small act of courage, your past will lose its hold. With every brave surrender, your soul will reclaim the space it was always meant to inhabit. I want you to understand, this is not about them. It's about what I'm doing through them. They are not your answer. They are the door, the catalyst, the sacred spark. I'm not trying to make you dependent on another person. I'm trying to show you how much I can restore through human connection, through embodied grace, through my spirit made flesh in another's faithfulness. They may expose parts of you you've long ignored. They may speak truth where you've only allowed silence. But that truth is not your enemy. That discomfort is not your punishment. It is the shaking of old chains. It is the sounding of my trumpet in your wilderness. This is a divine setup, a sacred collision. I have orchestrated it with infinite care. And yes, their presence will change you. But not because they are the hero, because you are finally ready to become the one I designed you to be. So let go of comparison. Stop idolizing the past. Let the questions come. Let the tears fall. Let your heart crack open like dry ground welcoming rain. I did not create you to function. I created you to flourish. I created you to be a living flame, burning with my image in a world grown cold. And now is the time. Now is your awakening. You are not just receiving someone into your life. You are being ushered into revelation, into rebirth, into restoration. This is not just about healing. This is about resurrection. And it all begins, not with a spectacle, but with the quiet, intentional arrival of someone who bears my mark, who carries my heartbeat, and who will unknowingly awaken a sacred fire in you that will never again be extinguished. The one I send into your life is not only meant to restore your ability to trust, but to help you rediscover the true essence of yourself. The essence I placed within you from the beginning, long before life's distortions covered it with the dust of disappointment. Through this encounter, you will come to a wondrous realization. No one has the right to define you but me. No voice, whether around you or within, can declare you a failure, worthless, or unlovable. All of that begins to lose power the moment you allow yourself to be seen in the light they bring. The light of unconditional love, unwavering presence, and fierce loyalty that asks for nothing in return. And that is where the shift begins. When you finally understand that transformation isn't something you must achieve through willpower, but something that unfolds as you let go of what no longer belongs to you. You must release the old to receive the new. You must release control to embrace guidance. You must surrender limited dreams to enter the limitless design I've written for your life. And sometimes, the very first thing I ask you to let go of is your solitude. Not because it is inherently wrong, but because it has become a cocoon, a prison that keeps you from touching real life. The one I send is a sign that I have carved a path through the walls you've built. But only you can choose to walk out. No one can walk it for you. No one can believe for you. No one can love for you if you continue to cling to the belief that you are unworthy of love. This person may come in the most ordinary form: a neighbor, an old friend, a new coworker, or even someone you once saw as distant. Do not judge too quickly. I do not choose as the world chooses. You look at appearances, I look at purpose. You seek credentials, recognition, reliability. I choose based on humility, purity, and the willingness to suffer for the sake of another. This person is not perfect, but they are proven. They have been refined in fire. They've learned not to react from impulse, but to respond with wisdom. Through their own brokenness, they have learned how to gently enter fragile spaces without causing further harm. They will not save you, but they will be there when you decide to step out of the darkness. They will be the living proof that I never forgot you, not even for a day. And with time, as things become clearer, you will see the greatest miracle was not that I brought someone into your life, but that I transformed you from the inside out. So much so that one day you will no longer need them the way you once did, not because you love them less, but because you've matured. If they leave, you will not collapse. You will give thanks. If they stay, you will cherish them without clinging. In either case, you will remain steady, because what I formed within you will be eternal, untouchable, unshakable, no longer dependent on anyone. And that is the ultimate purpose of my sending, that you might return to your truest self, in my light, in the meaning of life as I intended, in the original beauty I have always seen in you. Even when you stopped believing, I was leading you deeper into a land you never dared to enter. A land where revelation is no longer something you hear with your ears, but something you live with every heartbeat, every breath. When I send someone into your life, it is never simply a reward for faithfulness or a magical solution for happiness. No, the work I am doing is more sacred, more profound. I am using that person to permanently shift the way you see yourself, the way you understand love, the way you perceive life, and the sacred purpose for which you were created. You have lived too long under a distorted definition of yourself. You've believed that you are your wounds, your failures, your rejections, your abandonment. But I've waited so long to break through that fortress, not with words, but with presence. Someone who knows how to walk into your world without tearing it down, without convincing you, without debating or demanding, just by staying, like a quiet stream of light that softens stone. Have you ever wondered why someone's silence can hurt more than 1,000 words? Or how someone can shake your soul without uttering a single sentence? It is because I have placed within them a part of a soul that resonates with yours, not to replace me, but to make me recognizable to you again. There are things your heart cannot yet hear directly from me. So I whisper through them. Through their eyes, I touch the parts of you that have become numb. Through their voice, I help you remember the softness you once knew. Through their presence, I assure you, I have not abandoned you. And through their imperfection, I teach you that love need not be flawless to stay. That transformation doesn't happen through pressure, but through quiet choosing, over and over. Each time you choose to trust without proof. Each time you open your heart, even if your hands still tremble. They are a mirror, not only of who you are now, but of who you were always meant to become. In them, you'll see what you lack. Not so you can despair, but so that you'll be stirred to rise, to mature, to evolve. They are a living image of something higher, deeper, requiring more of you. And if you dare to face it, you'll realize what seemed impossible was merely unopened. You'll find yourself speaking differently, reacting differently, loving differently. Not because they demanded it, but because you desire to become someone who can carry that light with honor. And that desire will become the force that breaks chains, surpasses limits, and brings you to the place you once thought unreachable. But understand this too, they did not come to fill your emptiness. I did not ordain this relationship for dependence. No, what I am doing is far more subtle, far more divine. Though they may bring great comfort, I remain the source of your healing. They are the vessel, a clay jar I chose to pour grace through. If you cling to the vessel, you will miss the wine within. But if you learn to be grateful without possessing, to love without controlling, to cherish without needing, this connection will become a flowing stream of life. Not only for you, but for others who touch the new life that blooms through your transformation. They are not your ending. They are your beginning. the starting point of living in alignment with the reason you were created. And someday, in the middle of an ordinary day, you will look up and whisper within, "I am not the same." You will realize you no longer live to be accepted. You live because you know you were chosen. You no longer strive for worth. You act from a place of worth already affirmed by grace. And when that sacred metamorphosis takes root, I will take you even further. You will become one I can now send, to do for others what has been done for you. Just as you were once touched, you will now be the one who touches. Your story will not only be told, it will become something that others can read. Through your eyes, through your compassion, through your faith. Do you see it now? When I send someone, it is not only to change your season, but to restore your coordinates on the map of my kingdom. Every encounter holds eternal value. Every connection I allow is part of a greater purpose, one you do not yet fully understand, but one day will look back on with trembling awe, realizing how every detail was divinely placed. So let me do my work in you through the one I've sent. Let this quiet miracle unfold in its own sacred rhythm. And one day, when you tell your story, you will say, "I didn't realize it at first, but now I know. You came to me, Lord, in the form of a stranger, in a form no one expected, but carrying a mission no one else could fulfill. And I want you to understand this deeper truth. The one I send is not only the answer to your prayer, they are also the question I am placing before you. There are questions in life that are not asked with words, but with presence. And the one I send to you will be such a question, alive, breathing, undeniable. You will not be able to look at them without also looking into yourself. You will be confronted with the truth you've buried, the fears you've dressed up as safety, and the stories you've rehearsed for so long that they've become invisible walls around your soul. Through this person's unwavering presence, you will hear me whisper, "Are you ready to step out of the familiar shadows? Are you willing to release your grip on control, to loosen your hold on the illusion of safety, and follow the subtle, holy pull of something new, something I've been placing into your heart through every glance, every silence, every time they refuse to walk away in your darkest moments? They are the mirror I've chosen, a reflection not of your flaws, but of the sacredness you've denied. And when you look into this mirror, you will not only see who you are now, you will glimpse who I intended you to become from the very beginning. A radiant soul, free and unbound, no longer defined by old wounds or distorted by echoes from the past. Yes, there will be fear, the fear that they might see the parts of you you've hidden from the world, the fear that if you allow yourself to care, to open, to love, you will lose again. But I ask you, do you want to continue living as a soul confined within assumptions? Or are you ready to truly live, to truly feel, to truly walk into the life I've authored for you? I do not promise a life without pain, but I promise you this: if you dare to step forward, that pain will no longer be meaningless. It will become sacred fuel, cleansing, reshaping, awakening. Every layer of resistance will begin to fall. Every hardened wall will tremble. Every dark place in your heart you thought no one could reach will be flooded with light. This person I send is not the miracle. They are the evidence that the miracle has already begun. They may not speak great revelations or perform dramatic acts, but they will simply be there, exactly when your heart needs the quiet companionship of someone who asks for nothing, expects nothing, but whose presence carries the fragrance of heaven. And precisely because of their simplicity, they will carry weight. Because I use the humble to accomplish the holy. I use the quiet to shake kingdoms. And I use the ordinary to birth the extraordinary. They will not bring thunder. They will not arrive with signs in the sky. But when they enter your life, you will begin to feel differently. Old songs will sound new. Old walls will echo with unfamiliar vibrations. Your soul will begin to stir as though a melody, long forgotten, has returned to awaken something deep within you. No one but I can do this. And when it begins, do not rush to explain it away. Just listen and follow. Know this: the trembling you feel inside, the disruption, the stirring, the restlessness, that too is a gift. It means you are alive. It is evidence that your heart can still be touched, that hope is still possible, that there is still softness beneath the scars. Even if you feel dry, broken, empty, I tell you, it only takes a fragment of true light to transform a darkened room. And that light, I have placed it in them, not of their own making, but mine. I've hidden it in them for such a time as this, and now I have released it to find you. From here on, every response you give matters. You can turn away, shut down, protect yourself from what might hurt. I will not force you. But if you choose to open, if you choose to let me work through this quiet presence, then I promise, not one day from this moment forward will be like the ones before. You cannot go back. Change has begun, even if you don't see it yet. And if you keep walking, even slowly, even with fear still present, your entire life will be lifted onto a higher plane. No longer survival out of fear, but flourishing out of divine design. And one day, when you are ready, you will be the one I send to someone else. For I do not only heal you, I prepare you. I do not only lift you from the pit, I equip you to descend into others' darkness carrying light. And then you will understand why that person once came to you. They were not meant to stay forever. They were a torchbearer. They were the spark to awaken your own flame, not to keep it, but to pass it on. And thus it continues, lives awakened, destinies rewritten, one divine appointment after another, set into motion by my spirit, and sealed with my timing. So do not ignore this presence. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. There is no such thing in my design. You are living in a moment that was chosen. And this person, though you may not understand them, though your heart may still wrestle with doubt, is my extended hand, reaching into your present to lead you out of the wilderness and into a place you've never dared to imagine. Don't rely on appearances. Don't judge based on history. Look with your soul. Feel with your heart's silence. For that is where I speak. That is where I move. And if you let me complete what I've begun, nothing in you will remain the same. O soul crossing the threshold between what was and what is to come, know this: the presence of the one I send is not a reward nor a favor. It is a divine marker, a signpost in the unfolding story I have written for you since before your name was spoken. They are not here to fix you. They are here to awaken the original design, the divine imprint within you that never left, the part of you that still knows how to believe, still longs to love, still dares to hope, even if it's buried under layers of pain, even if you've forgotten it was there. This person is not meant to replace me, but to reflect me, so that you might recognize me again, even in the most human of forms. They will not flatter you, but they will not diminish you either. They will face you with truth, not the kind that wounds, but the kind that sets free. You may resist, you may run, you may question everything, but eventually you will know. It is not their perfection that confirms they are sent. It is their faithfulness in imperfection that your soul has been waiting for. Someone who stays, not because you've earned it, but because I've asked them to. You may wonder, why them? Why not someone easier, someone who makes more sense? And I say to you, because only they carry the spiritual composition necessary to reach the depths of your pain without breaking you. They are not random. They are the answer to a prayer you forgot you prayed, a silent tear I saw and kept. I have not only prepared them for you, I have prepared you to receive them. And when you finally understand what I am doing, you will no longer be careless with divine encounters. You will become reverent in every conversation, attentive in every relationship, because you will know, within the smallest interactions, eternity is at work. And you, my child, will become a living testimony. Not just a story told, but a story read by others, through your eyes, through your healing, through your faith. And one day, when you least expect it, you will whisper, "I am no longer the same." You will not remember the exact moment it changed, only that it did. And when you feel that change, when your reactions soften, when your voice steadies, when you begin to walk in identity instead of insecurity, that is the sign. The one I sent has fulfilled their purpose, and now I send you to carry what you've received, to become what you've witnessed, to pour into others what was poured into you. They may one day step away, but the light I have awakened in you through them will continue to guide your footsteps for a lifetime. This is the true miracle, that you no longer need another hand to trust that you are being held. You will come to know that I have held your hand from the very start. And that person, whoever they are, for however long they stay, is simply the means by which you learn to see me in everything, to hear my quiet whisper through the chaos, and to live as someone who knows they are loved without end. When the time comes, and you begin to grasp the true purpose behind their appearance, you will regard this relationship not with fear nor suspicion, but with a serene awe, a gratitude deeper than emotion or expectation. You will start to witness my fingerprints, not only in grand events, but in the smallest details of life. A timely nod, an unspoken understanding, a fleeting moment that unexpectedly opens a doorway into the depths of your soul. When I sent them, I did not take you into another mere relationship to fill a void. I led you into a sacred process of restoration. Each broken piece of your life is being mended. Each stolen hope is being restored. Each dream, frozen by time, is being warmed again by the steadfast flame of my presence within them. Never think I only act through dramatic miracles. I, who reach the human heart, move through the unnoticed. The one I send into your life may arrive softly, without fanfare, but you will realize they carry the weight of sacred life, like a hidden kingdom contained in their quietly patient eyes, in their steady presence during your anger, your doubts, your desire to give up. They will not preach. They will not persuade. They will not try to change you with eloquent speeches. They will simply embody a truth forged in fire, a truth potent enough to reawaken your original self, the part of you that was forgotten beneath your fight for survival, the part you coerced into hiding for fear of being unseen. When they finally see you, you will begin to see yourself again. I know being seen is scary, especially when you've grown used to hiding behind walls of solitude. You built shelters because someone who knew you once turned away. You learned to laugh when your heart wasn't laughing. You kept your distance even though you longed to be near. But I came to dismantle that cycle. I began by sending someone not perfect but placed with precision so you might relearn trust. Not trust in them, but trust in my ability to use someone ordinary to accomplish extraordinary restoration. That person is an invitation to open, not because they are trustworthy, but because I, your creator, am. If you only measure the present by your past, you will miss what is being born now. But if you choose faith, eyes cleansed by hope rather than hurt, you will see how, even among impossibilities, I am weaving good out of your life. You will learn an invaluable lesson in letting go. Letting go not of the person, but of the notion that they belong to you. I never give someone into your life for ownership, but for stewardship, so you may learn to cherish. They come as a miracle, but not your miracle. They are a guide, pointing you back to me. If you cling to them as the goal, you'll stumble in attachment. But if you see them as a door leading you to me, every step you take with them will be sanctified. I am using them like a mirror to reflect the light you never believed you had. And when that light is recognized, you will begin to live differently. No longer searching for validation, no longer longing to be fully understood, no longer depending on praise or approval. Because you will know in your bones that you are chosen, that you walk the path I ordained, not because of your merits, but because of my love. That person may be the first to bring you a peace that requires no pretense. They may be the one who stays when you reveal your weakness, proving a greater truth. I have placed in you a value that cannot be erased, a light that cannot be extinguished, a life no one can take away. They unlock what was already inside you, not possessing it. You will move into a new season as you grasp this reality, a season in which you live from a place of fullness, not from lack. You will stop seeking others to fill your wounds because you will know they are already full. You will no longer fear loss because you know my gift cannot be stolen. If you hold this truth in your mind, whether they stay or go, you will remain steadfast, grounded not in them, but in the immovable foundation beneath your feet. This is the deep truth. The greatest change they bring is not changing circumstances, but changing you. From doubt to trust, from a closed soul to an open one, from a heart afraid of love to a wellspring of selfless love. And that, seemingly simple, is the greatest miracle of all. You return to your true self, already shaped, already lifted, already led, such that every step you take, every word you speak, will echo my voice in the world. As you deepen this relationship, one I have prepared and warmed with my presence even before you recognized it, you will notice a difference. No more superficial connections that fade, no more emotional quick fixes that crumble. What I give you will be alive, powerful, because that person carries a flow of my life in them, a sacred rhythm that only those who have walked through darkness and retained hope can hear. You will begin to hear my voice more clearly when they are near, not because they are me, but because their presence silences your inner noise, allowing you to finally perceive the whispered invitations I've been sending all along. The transformation I am performing is not hurried. It does not come as a whirlwind, but like an underground stream wearing through stone. You will no longer wake up each day wide-eyed, guarded, afraid of being hurt again. Gradually, you will shed each armor piece, each defensive wall, not because you are weak, but because you are learning. My strength, a strength that hides within vulnerability, not showy power. Through each conversation, each accepting silence, each moment they didn't abandon you in your inner storms, you are learning. You don't have to fight for love. You simply need to be present and let me do the rest. You will also learn to love them not out of infatuation, but through a mature love, one that respects, sets boundaries, waits, refrains from control. I don't want you to love like the world, grabbing what feels good. I want you to love as those placed in my hands do, letting go when you must, lifting when you should, enduring when it births something greater. This person is your first practice in this kind of love, one that no longer centers on your own needs, but on divine purpose. You will discover that the more you love rightly, the less you fear losing. Because my love is not threatened by change, distance, or silence, it has rooted deep in truth. And where truth lives, freedom thrives, and that is another sign that I am at work. You will stop needing their approval to know your worth. You will stop fearing misunderstanding or indefinite absence. You will discover gratitude for their season, however long it lasts. And that blessing alone makes your connection holy. For it is not built on possession, but on trust. Trust that I hold all things together. Trust that they came at precisely the right time. Trust that when their season ends, they leave, not because my provision fails, but because my purpose in them for you is complete. Real love isn't held hostage by form. It transcends appearance and flows from my source. You won't clutch them in desperation. You only need to embrace what I have done through them. That is eternal. They may leave, but the transformation they sparked in your soul will remain forever. They won't label you. They won't withdraw simply because you need time. They won't make you feel insignificant, nor will they elevate you only to bring disappointment. They will stand with you as a faithful witness, and a true witness need not do much, only remain steadfast. Through that loyalty I will move, not through storms, but through gentle breezes, silent moments, and steady steps. Before long, you will no longer wonder if they're here to stay forever. Instead, you'll realize the real question isn't how long they remain, but what you've received from their presence. Each person I send carries a role in a greater plan. Some come to stay long-term, others arrive just to hand over a key, then move on. Some awaken life within you and leave the work for me to continue. What matters most is whether what I've sown through them takes root in your soul. Do not cling in regret when they leave. Do not tether your heart to their form. Instead, remember the Spirit. Hold fast to the light they leave behind. That light, not simply their presence, is what I am cultivating in you. As you walk this journey, you will be transformed from recipient into giver. They may come as the sower, but you will be the harvest. They may arrive as a trickle of hope, but you will become the stream that flows into dry places. The love you receive is not to be hoarded. It must overflow, providing shade and refreshment to those still lost, just as you once were. In that overflow, you will discover a depth of satisfaction you've never known, not because someone stands beside you, but because you are living in alignment with the purpose I wired into your heart. You will no longer fear solitude, for you will know I am always present. You will no longer fear loss, having learned to love without grasping. You will no longer fear new beginnings, trusting that every fresh start is held firmly in my hands. From a stranger, I began this work of transforming you. From a single encounter, I opened a new spiritual stream in your heart. And from here on, you will learn that what I require of you is not certainty of outcome, but readiness to walk in step with me. Each day, each decision, every small, faithful step matters, and yes, you will feel uneasy when that person arrives, because they'll be nothing like the grand hero you imagined. Instead, they may be ordinary, even visibly flawed, and you'll wonder how they could possibly be what I sent to change your life. It's in that very contradiction that I teach you a deeper lesson, that miracles often arrive in ordinary packaging. The quietest presence can hide the greatest power. I am testing your eyes, not to condemn your judgments, but to help you learn to see with the eyes of the soul, not the shallowness of appearances. If you only look for perfection, you will miss truth. If you expect them to fix everything, you will crash into disappointment. But if you learn to see my presence even in imperfection, you will discover a sacred secret. My deepest gifts are wrapped in humility, quietness, and things easily overlooked. They are not here to complete you. You are already whole, a soul being shaped, refined, and formed. They come to resonate with that process, not overshadow it. Their faithful presence will not steal your center. It will redirect it back to me, the source and destination. As you draw closer to me, you'll discover you can love them rightly, without clinging, without craving, without manipulation or control. A presence freely given, a presence freely received. That love becomes your sanctuary, a heart strong enough to withstand any relational storm. I know you've been betrayed, loved wrongly, broken at the hands of others who failed to see the sacred in you. So when I say I'm sending someone into your life, I also understand your hesitation, your caution, your distrust. I do not condemn it, but I refuse to let you stay locked in defensiveness. Real love cannot arrive while you cling to your shields. Healing begins when you dare to lower them and whisper, I am ready, For whatever you want to do, I'm ready to try again. That moment, when your defenses fall, even slightly, is when grace begins to pour, not as a flood, but as gentle morning dew to revive what seemed lifeless. Do not fear their imperfections. Do not be alarmed when they need healing too. They do not have to be perfect for me to use them. You are in the process of healing, and oftentimes I don't choose the strongest vessel. I choose the humble one, dependent on me, to teach you how to walk by my strength, not your own. Their vulnerability can become a support as long as both of you rely on me. In your fragility and theirs, true love grows, not from eloquent words, but from daily decisions. To forgive, to stay, to trust me even when you feel nothing. You will recognize that they are not the final answers you once needed them to be, but someone I placed by your side to walk with you toward a journey of discovery together. True life change doesn't come from someone giving you all the solutions. It comes from someone daring to walk the unknown with you, to share the load, to hold hope, to stay when things get cloudy. That is who I send, someone imperfect, not divine, but empowered by me to hold the doorway to a new chapter in your heart. Through them, I lead you from old seasons into new ones, from fear into peace, from unbelief into faith, from mere survival into genuine living. Nothing can stop that if you continue to trust, not in them, but in me, the one who calls them to you. Prepare your heart, not by polishing your persona, not by performing enough, but by embracing vulnerability, honesty, letting go of expectations, and opening wide to receive. I won't operate by shaking the earth. I choose to use a person through whom I open a door to you, to me. The first thing you sense on the other side of that door isn't blinding brilliance or roaring revelation. It is a strange, deep peace that cannot be explained. But your soul will know, this is from me, a whisper saying, you are walking the right way, and in that peace you will begin to live honestly, no longer hiding behind masks of strength, no longer performing. That person isn't an audience for a show, they're a companion in a real, raw, revealed journey. They have not arrived to persuade you to change. They've come to spark your desire to become better, not because they demand it, but because their presence reflects what I placed inside you. That inner transformation, that is my greatest work. For if I only change your circumstances and not you, you will end up replaying the same stories in a new setting. But if I change you, how you love, how you respond, how you persevere, how you hope, then no matter where you are, with whom, or what season you face, you will keep the peace I've planted in you. And that is my desire for you. Not a perfect life of constancy, but a soul unshakable by circumstances. Through them, you will also learn another truth. Presence need not always be loud. They may stand quietly by you, not speaking, yet their presence becomes a prayer echoing in your soul. You will come to appreciate unspoken moments, not empty silence, but sacred space where I speak without words, beyond turmoil and expectation. They may not fix every problem. They are not here to repair, but to share space with you as I do, letting me act through your shared rhythms of silence, conversation, tears, hope. And as you walk with them, you may not always trace the reason you're changing. When old reactions fade, when past bitterness feels less heavy, when hope begins to feel plausible again, don't doubt it. That is my spirit working quietly within. They are a catalyst. The true renovation is my work. I am dismantling outdated mental patterns, rewriting your story not with ink, but with light. Each renewed thought, each restored step proves that no day of your life has been wasted. Even the darkest ones were preparing you for this. One day, you'll look back, from the moment I knocked at your heart by sending them, to each day you walked in faith. You'll realize, when you didn't fully understand, I worked most deeply. When you felt weak, I upheld you. When you thought you were merely holding on, I was remolding you in spirit. And the extraordinary truth will be, none of this came from grand dreams or loud proclamations, but through the smallest of gestures, a forgiveness you couldn't give before, a patience you didn't think you had, a silent presence full of light. That stranger became living evidence of my mercy, a gentle yet mighty instrument through which I touched, awakened, and prepared your heart for a new season. And although that season may seem concluded, perhaps that person has moved on, what remains is no less miraculous. The lifelong flame they rekindled in you. Because I don't give temporary things. I plant seeds to grow, if only you don't shut your heart. What begins with a stranger becomes your own eternal melody, woven into your soul forever. You'll also discover that not all in your life is meant to satisfy personal need or sentiment. Each encounter I arrange carries sacred significance. I don't connect people simply for temporary joy, romance, or convenience. I knit souls in order to refine, purify, and position each one on a path I set long before the world ever began. The person I bring into your life is not a reward for obedience, nor compensation for suffering. They're part of an eternal design, hand-placed at the precise moment, not a moment too early, not too late, to awaken a sacred part of your being that only they can stir. Because of that, they are irreplaceable. No one else can fill their role. You may meet many others later. Your life may take countless turns, but their role remains unique. They are my hand opening a door you would never have dared to walk through otherwise. And do not forget this. I myself entered human history as a stranger, not appearing as a powerful king, not draped in splendor that demanded attention, but hidden in humility, visible only to those whose hearts hungered for true presence. Even now I continue to come through those you least expect. They may not share your background or language. They may seem ordinary in every way. But if your heart is open, you will recognize my fingerprint, not in their spoken word, but in the echo of my voice in their soul. They hold the key to a sacred door, a guardian at the threshold of your spiritual transformation, one you could never reach on your own. And one day, you will be that stranger to someone else, called to bring light to a broken heart, to love a weary soul, to stand quietly faithful to who I am in them. And people will ask why you stayed, why you loved, why you believed, and you won't need many words. You'll say simply, "Someone once came to me, so now I'm sent to come to you." This is the journey of real love, never confined to one personal connection, but streaming on to brighten entire lives. So prepare your heart, not by looking for signs in the skies or waiting for sweeping messages from others, but by turning inward, by listening, by noticing. That person may already be here or on the horizon. Regardless, I'm preparing your heart so that when the encounter comes, you don't look through fearful eyes, but eyes lit by faith. Keep your soul open, and you will discover they are not just a turning point. They are the opening notes of a whole symphony I've been composing for your life. Amen.